Hey, man, what's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is. It's your boy, Nephew Q, here to give you another installment. And today with me, I got a special guest in the building. I got the owner, the operator of UK's best podcast out right now. If you're a BBN fan, you might want to get connected with this dude and his podcast right now, because if you ain't in on the ground level, you gonna miss all the good stuff because it's about to blow up. I'm gonna give him some flowers here in a second, but I got none other the UK's very own Sports and Discourse podcast host, Derek Stevenson, in the building.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate
Now, before we get into today's topic, I want to make sure I give this dude his flowers, because I text him every once in a while and tell him this, but I just want to tell him to his face that I am so proud of you, bro. Because you started your podcast, I want to say a little bit over a year ago, last September, right?
I have to check, man. I've been it might be 2 years.
Might be 2 years? Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a little minute now.
And
I'm coming up on my 200th episode.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's crazy to see how when you started out, you was trying to find your way and find your niche, and then you found the UK niche, and then boom, the shit's taken off ever since. And I just want to give you your flowers, bro. I'm so, for whatever it's worth to you, man, I just want to say I'm proud of you, bro, and everything that you've accomplished so far.
I appreciate it, man. And not for us to be having a circle jerk or whatever, but you was the inspiration behind all of that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because everybody that knows me knows I had always wanted to do something creative, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't doing anything. And then when I seen you getting in your bag, it kind of just gave me some inspiration and made me want to go on and jump out the window and try. Because a lot of times, man, you'd be surprised what you could do if you would just go on and do it.
Just do it.
But a lot of times we psych ourselves out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Self-sabotage.
We scared of failing. We scared of not being accepted.
Ain't nobody gonna like it.
Yeah,
nobody gonna
you know what I'm saying? So we just don't do it. And, like you giving me probably way more credit than I deserve at this point.
Bro.
But, I do enjoy that I have built a little small audience so far. And it's growing each season. So,
So make sure y'all go like, share, and subscribe to Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson, where he covers all things UK, mainly UK basketball with a little UK football sprinkled in there a little bit in between. But we're going to get into today's topic. Speaking of, we have two different podcasts doing similar type of things, but in two different lanes. And it just goes to show that people can do the same thing and still collaborate and get along with each other. Now, if you are into the sports podcasting world, you know about the I Am Athlete and Pivot beef. And that's what we want to talk about. We want to give our thoughts, views, and opinions on what's going on between those two. If you're unfamiliar with the situation, about a year and a half ago, the I Am Athlete started out with Reggie Wayne, Brandon Marshall, Channing Crowder, and Fred Taylor. Mm-hmm. Money got funny, stories got conflicted, they separated. Channing Crowder and Fred Taylor got with Ryan Clark and started the Pivot. Brandon Marshall kept I Am Athlete going with Pac-Man Jones and Ocho Cinco. And then that later, went away, and it turned into, I think it's Ashley somebody on there now. And it's a reoccurring guest on there. So, but it's mainly Brandon Marshall and reoccurring guests on there. Now, what we want to talk about is Brandon Marshall was recently on Cam Newton's podcast, and Cam Newton asked Brandon Marshall about the breakup of I Am Athlete. And once the Pivot guys got word of the interview, they had their own things to say about the interview that Brandon Marshall did on Cam Newton's podcast. So we want to break this down and talk about this. So first of all, you put me onto this. What's your thoughts on, first of all, Brandon Marshall's part of the breakup? What do you think about his part of it?
As far as Brandon Marshall is concerned, I can definitely see some of his points, because when you create something and you build it up, it's hard to get that away. So at first you do it for the love because you don't really expect it to turn into nothing.
Just some player partners just kicking it around, yeah.
Same with me. And that's kind of the reason why I kind of just do my own thing.
Solo tip.
I might invite people on my show, but there's never going to be a co-host probably. I ain't going to say never, but probably there's not going to be a co-host because I just want it to I want to either succeed or fail all on my own, right? So then I don't have nobody to blame or nobody to get into conflict with.
Or somebody take the credit saying your show wasn't this until they came onto the show.
Because it just seems like an entertainment business, when you start something and it's just off the love, you're just friends doing it, it's cool. Even with like musicians and like low-level managers, right? Mm-hmm. They start off, they both broke, everybody's getting a loan, they're making a little bit of money. But then when real money comes into the situation,
when the industry comes knocking on their door,
things get a little funny, people start to act a little different. So I'm not saying that Brandon Marshall is definitely right, but some of the things that he said, I definitely agree with. Like when he said, according to Brandon Marshall, he offered everybody, they could either put in money to become partners or they could take basically a salary. And for the most part, most of them said they would take a salary, which probably because when it was COVID, nobody was really making money. So I guess they just felt like I'd rather get some kind of income right now than wait and see what happens and possibly get nothing. So I think Shannon and most of the other guys took a salary, and then Fred Taylor said that he would take some equity share. But according to Brandon Marshall, he never actually paid and bought any equity. So initially, they said it was supposed to be $25,000. Well, according to Brandon Marshall, by the time Fred was ready to throw in his $25,000, Brandon Marshall, and it could be capped, it might be true, but he said that he had put somewhere around, what did he say, $500,000 into it.
But hold on. Do you think it's capped though? Regardless of whatever, what do you think? Do you think that part he's telling the truth or he's capping on that?
It could be, depending on, I'd have to see all the behind the scenes, right? Because you can produce a show with way less money than $500,000. We know this.
Yeah, we know this.
You know what I mean? I put less than $6,000 into my show. I have put a couple of bands into it, but I ain't put 500. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, just a disclaimer, my show doesn't look the way theirs did. So depending on if you hire in a production staff, you know, if you got to pay people to set up cameras and to run everything, travel, you got to put people in hotels. If you're doing all that, he could very well spend $500,000. So it's kind of hard to say without the receipts. Everybody says they have receipts, but nobody ever shows the receipts, right? So we just have to take their word to a degree. So if what he's saying is true, if he put in $500,000 and then whenever he got the company evaluated, it was worth however much he said it's worth, then buying 25% of it is not equal to $25,000 anymore.
No, I agree with that.
If that's the case, he's kind of right on that, and Fred Taylor shouldn't expect to still only be able to pay $25,000 and get 25% of the company.
Right. I wholeheartedly agree with that. That, you know. But my thing is, and Cam asked this question too, do you think that when it first started out, because Brandon Marshall was saying that he was the one doing all the groundwork, right? He was the one doing all the behind the scenes, and they was just basically, for lack of a better term, just showing up and doing the show, right? Do you think that he kind of kept them out of the business, or do you think they just chose not to be a part of that?
Both. Because I believe they probably were just showing up to work. Because you know how it is. We both do shows.
Yeah.
So like today, I'm doing your show. Yeah. I didn't bring any equipment. I just showed up to work. He brought everything. This is his show. He brought all of this is his equipment. And when I asked him to be on my show, I brought my stuff. So if it's his show, he probably was doing all the things, all the leg work, if you will, and they probably were just showing up, recording, and going home. So if that's the case, he may have developed some resentment and felt like when you do all the work and you watch them come in, clown with you, and then just go home, and you got to pack everything up or whatever the case may be, you got to pay out people, then you feel like it's yours. And you don't really feel like anybody's entitled to any piece of it at that point.
That's a fair point, because if we're just going by Brandon Marshall's word, if he's doing the groundwork, he's putting up the money, and all they doing is showing up, then once you talk to whoever you got to talk to and they say, no, the prices, your show was worth A, B, and C, and after a year, your people's is like, man, I thought it was 25,000. It's like, no, bro, they saying it's at 5 million now. Like that price is, now it's 250,000 for you to buy in now. And it's and at that point,
if I even want to let you still buy in,
yeah, because then it's like, are you just buying in and then you still gonna chill, or are you buying in and you gonna put the work in with me? And that's the part I'm conflicted on, and I'm confused about, because me personally, I want to believe that when he came to them, it was a thing that they all would go in together on. And this is what I think. I think Brandon Marshall said, okay, I'm going to go talk to these people and see what we can get for the show. And I think he did that and kept them out of it, so it looks like it's just him doing all the work. And then once he gets the numbers back, he's saying, nah, bro, they saying it's worth this. I had to go talk to this. I had to go. Well, it's like, bro, you said you wanted to do that. So if you said you wanted to do that, you can't say and get mad that we didn't go do it with you. So I think that's kind of what happened. And this is the part that confused me too. He said that he's 12 mil in the red. Now, you better with numbers than I am. You went to Taste Creek. I went to Bryan Station. So you explain to me, if you 12 mil in the red, meaning you lost 12 million off of this, how is you still able to produce a show? But hold on, before you continue that, if you lost 12 mil, I looked this up. His net worth is 18 million. Don't know how true that is. I'm just going by what I seen, and it was consistent on all the different Forbes and everything else. It was 18 mil, his net worth. So how you take a 12 mil hit and your net worth is only 18 mil? 12 mil hits is deserved for the Jay-Z's and the people like that. They take 12 mil hits. How you take 12 mil, but you still producing this show a year later?
That's probably over my head too, but it could be maybe his company is devalued 12 million less than what it was.
Okay.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he didn't actually, like, for instance, right? Jay-Z's worth $3 billion, but he probably only has $300 million in his actual bank account.
Equity, his actual money, yeah.
Liquid cash that he can get his hands on without having to sell stuff. He probably doesn't have $3 billion.
Of course.
So Brandon Marshall his company may have lost value, meaning he might have lost sponsorships, endorsements, and things like that, where he might say, I've lost 12 million with this. But maybe he's just lying, bro. Like he could very well just be lying about a whole lot of stuff. It's like I said, the one thing that I do think, the reason why I kind of believe Fred Taylor's lying a little bit,
okay, is
because, and look, I'm gonna just keep it real,
man. Keep it 100, bro.
When you dealing with niggas, right? You can't, like, okay, for instance, right? Like, say we was all planning a vacation.
Right.
Maybe we might spend $500 a piece.
Right.
You know how hard it is to get niggas to put their 500 up?
They say it in the beginning, but when it comes closer to the date, oh, bro, I had to,
Even though, think about it, right? My show, I've put in about 5,000 to 6,000. If I was like, Quinn, man, my show about to pop, man, invest 5,000 in it, you'd be like, because you ain't really seeing it pop yet. There's nothing to really make you think it's gonna pop. And then it's like, damn, am I really just, especially in COVID when people ain't making money?
No money? Yeah.
Fred Taylor's probably like, bro, I really ain't trying to put 25,000. We just sitting down talking. I don't know what I'm gonna get back.
But if I come back with a number with you and it says this show's worth 15 mil,
then I'll put that 20.
That's what I'm
just
saying.
What Fred said. I say, here's that 25,000 now.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the part that confuses me, is that did he, and Fred Taylor says that, and this is where the story gets murky too, because Fred Taylor said that, and he admitted to this part. He said that he asked him for a year for paperwork, and he said, I kind of let Brandon Marshall drag me around. I really wasn't, assertive and aggressive trying to get the paperwork to try to see what it was. And he says that's why he went out, because a year later when he got the paperwork, he was like, well, hold on, bro. You told me it's $25,000. I've been asking you for paperwork for a year. You never showed me anything. Now, a year later, you telling me, nah, I got to pay, we'll just use $250. Now you saying I got to put $250? Like, nah, bro, I asked you in the beginning, but you didn't show me nothing.
And that could be true, too. That could very easily be true, because people just do funny stuff to each other with
when
business.
Yeah.
And realistically,
money and women,
you have to get lawyers involved for stuff to happen
from the get-go.
You got to, man.
And I think that's part of the issue, is that they was just doing it on the strength, not thinking, my play. And I don't know if you've seen this too. Terrell Owens got involved. And not with their particular situation, but Terrell Owens has come out and says, yeah, Brandon Marshall has done some shady business deals that I know about, and with me also as well. So you have other athletes saying, Buddy ain't authentic, what he's saying he is. Another thing is that he talked about Channing Crowder, right? A couple of things. This is man. I'm gonna just be honest, bro. I think Brandon Marshall is cap. I think he's cap on the whole thing. In the Cam Newton interview, in the beginning of it, he says, "I've talked about this on my platform, and I've talked about this on my friend's platform as well." If you fast forward through the interview, about a little close to the end, he says, "For a year and a half, I let them talk and say their narrative about what they want to put out there, and I sat back and I didn't say nothing." But the beginning of the interview, you just said you talked about it on your platform or somebody. So which one is it?
They've all been talking about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just own it. Just own the shit.
They both keep saying things like, I really ain't trying to address it. Yes, they are.
I really don't want to talk about it. But let me tell you what happened, though.
They both talked about it several times.
And it's like, okay, we get it. Like, everybody's upset about the situation. But what I want to figure out is, why is Brandon Marshall upset, and why is the pivot upset? Is the pivot upset that Brandon Marshall didn't let them in the company? Is Brandon Marshall upset that he feels like they just left him out to dry? Like, what's the real reason why everybody's upset?
I think they're upset because they felt like he did bad business with them, which may or may not be true depending on how you look at it, how you view it.
Right.
Because, like I said, if what he's saying is true, I don't necessarily think he did bad business. I think they just didn't want to jump in like that because they didn't want to risk their money.
I think it's a combination of both. I think it was a combination of Brandon Marshall, and when I say this, I don't mean he's stupid, but being ignorant to that business, the podcasting world, because that's kind of like when it really blew up for real during COVID. I think he was kind of ignorant to it, and they was just ignorant to trusting him. Like, okay, he'll do right by us.
Yeah, because you think when you cool with somebody, you just expect them to
do the right thing.
Yeah. As just like if me and you decided we was going to start a show, but I put it on my YouTube page, I brought all the camera work and did everything, and then next thing you know, we get a $3 million deal. You expect me to go, here's 1.5 million. But then
it's like, bro, you didn't show up.
But now when the money's clouding my judgment, I might go, oh, but I bought everything, but I brung everything every time.
It's on my channel.
I deserve a little more than you. And then it gets funny because you didn't sort that out in the beginning.
Yeah. Like, okay, look, it's yours, woo, woo, woo. If we get this, you get 55%, I take 45%. Cool, bet. So we know whatever number comes in, off top, you get 55, I get 45, and this is the understanding of why you get this and why I get that.
Yep. And then what makes it even worse is, when you was a part of it, even if it ain't yours, you do feel entitled to it. Like when Crowder was saying, he said he made me or whatever, he's insulted because he's basically saying, bro, I was just as big of a piece of the show as you was. Yeah. It might have been your show, but I contributed just as much as you did as far as actually making the content. Now, maybe all of the business part of it, maybe he didn't put up anything, but he feels like he was just as entertaining and just as valuable, if not more probably, than Brandon was. So when you get into all of that, it gets murky as well. But
because that's feelings involved at that point.
Yeah, and that's why when you do business with your friend, unfortunately, you need to be prepared to not be friends anymore. But you have to start off by doing it the right way, because if you just expect somebody to do the right thing, it's a few solid people out there that will.
Yeah, but that's like far and in between.
It is.
That's like far and in between. And to expect, the problem is that we expect somebody to do what we would do.
Yeah.
And we put faith in people to, man, I would do this, and then when they don't do it, it's like, that's my fault for expecting you to be like me.
Just like when you growing up broke, you're always telling your best friend, man, if I hit this lottery, bro, we out of here. But then you hit the lottery and you like,
man,
here's a little something, you feel me? But you know what I mean? Like, so it's easy to say what you will and won't do
until you put in that position.
Yeah,
and then you get to find out what you
tough.
will and won't do.
Yeah.
Two things, like I said earlier, two things that always breaks up friendship: money and women.
Yeah.
Money and women. If you don't get that shit squared away from the beginning, it will tear down an empire. A couple of more things before we wrap this up. What's his name? Brandon Marshall said during the interview that he thinks Channing Crowder is an authentic, real dude, right? So it made me wonder if Brandon Marshall is saying what makes Channing, because he said he was talented, he said he was great at what he does. He gave him compliments. The only one he really didn't give compliments to was Fred Taylor. He gave Ryan Clark compliments, but he said he was corny too, which it's like, well, then why you give me a compliment if you said I'm corny at the same time? But anyways, he said Channing is talented, but what makes him talented is he's real, vulnerable, and authentic.
For sure. I agree with that.
But if you saying that, then aren't you validating what Channing is saying on the Pivot podcast then? Because you saying out of your own mouth he's real and authentic.
It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about as talent for your show, yes. If you're talking about business practices, maybe he might not mean that, but it's kind of hard. I can't really answer that. Brandon would have to explain what he means by that, because I can see what you're saying. When you make those type of comments about somebody, it almost makes it seem like you saying what he's saying you should believe, because saying he's this type of a person.
Just validate. You said that he's talented because he's a real dude. He's authentic. That's what drew me to him, because he's gonna shoot it to you straight. Well, if that's the case, then shouldn't I believe what he's saying then?
But Shannon is the one that also said he just would take the money, so he probably really didn't have too much of an issue with Shannon.
Right. I don't think he did. No,
because he just said, "Pay me."
Yeah, because he actually said that during the Cam Newton interview. He said the reason why he respects Channing is because when he brought the deal to Channing, Channing was like, I don't think it's a good deal. He's like, I'm not with that shit. And he was like, all right, cool. But he feels like Ryan Clark and Fred Taylor, played him to the left or whatever. Speaking of the Ryan Clark situation, we talked about it a little bit. Elaborate on the Ryan Clark and him situation, because I didn't really totally understand it, but it had something to do with DB camps and all that. What's going on with that situation?
So basically, if I'm getting it correctly from what Ryan was saying, was he told the guys, look, I'll start the show with you, but I need to holler at Brandon because they still had a working relationship.
So he'll start the show with Channing and Fred, but he need to go holler at B.Marshall. Okay.
Yeah, just to let them know, like, hey, because I think they were still working together on whatever, was they on ESPN or whatever? Yeah. So, they was running across each other, working together.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
So he was just letting them know, like, hey, bro, like, we still doing this over here, but I want to let you know I'm doing this with them too.
Right.
And then he said, basically, like, Brandon acted like he was cool with it. But, most guys with ego are not going to be able to be honest with you.
Nah.
They not going to go,
can't
man,
put
you
that
know what?
to the side.
I really don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
Instead of just telling the truth.
Like, hey, man, look. Man, I just can't rock with what you doing, bro.
Right. So he probably did tell him he was cool with it. But then later on, so Ryan goes back and he tells the boys, like, all right, he's good with it. They do their thing. And then he hits him and he's like, hey, am I still good to come? Because he was supposed to come. So Brandon Marshall was hosting the camp, and Clark was supposed to come and do training with the defensive backs.
Right.
So he shows up to it, and then they hit him, and they like, hey, you can't come in the facility.
That's dirty.
And
that's dirty.
And that kind of makes me not respect Marshall a little. That's kind of some sucker shit to me. If you tell the dude you cool with him, be cool with
Be
him.
cool with him.
But-
Or in between that time, you say that, and it's time for the DB shit. Hey, look, bro. I know I said, hey, man, don't even worry about it. I went ahead and got somebody else for it, man. I appreciate you doing it, you know what I'm saying?
Or just let him coach the kids, and then
Well, that's who.
because at the end of the day, like you can let him do his thing, coach them kids, and then you can go on about your business. You don't even really got to mix with that,
That's
in
true.
my opinion.
That's true.
He's there to do a job to help you. Probably wasn't paying him, but he was showing up. Let him do it, and then because that's just benefiting the kids. You know what I'm saying? That ain't really about nothing,
Right.
Like, so I thought that was kind of some sucker shit, you know. Which those type of things is what ultimately make it hard for you to take Brandon at his word. Like, I'm trying to look at it just from a business standpoint and be like, I can understand some of his points, but when you see him moving like that, it kind of makes you be like, maybe he is capable of doing some of that other stuff or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, I just think he's bitter.
And that's what Cam said to him. He said, "I think you bitter," and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Look, you seem like you hurt," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm hurt." But go ahead though.
Sometimes it's just hard to watch people win.
Facts, especially people that you fucked with.
Yeah, like sometimes, man. Look, everybody acts like they solid, and everybody is solid to somebody
to a certain degree.
But somebody probably will call you a hater out there, no matter who you are. And sometimes you're gonna have moments. You might not consistently be a hater, but sometimes you will have moments where you get emotional. You might show a little jealousy. You might show a little envy. You know what I'm saying? Even though in most cases there's room for everybody to get a little slice of the pie. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's hard for people because ultimately, I'm be real with you. He probably looks at them and says, if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't even have started doing this.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And then not only are they doing it now to at least equal level as I was, if not higher.
Surpassed it, yeah.
Now they got something against me. So he probably feels like, damn, they eating all the success that I'm supposed to have.
I hurt.
And they didn't even care about doing this until I said, let's do it. So I understand why he probably is a little bitter. He probably shouldn't be bitter, but just being a human, I can understand why he can look at that and just be a little, you know what I mean?
It reminds me of, and we all got these, ex. And an ex that lets somebody go that knowing damn well they shouldn't let him go because they the one who fucked it up. This is what their situation. Brandon Marshall is the person that broke up with the pivot, knowing damn well he's the one who fucked the relationship up, and that was a good person. Like, let's just break it all the way down. That's like me. I fuck it up. She leaves me, but I know she's a good woman. But I did something to fuck it up. She's with another dude. She's with D Money now. D Money's treating her way better than she's glossy, she's shining. And it hurts. Because I know that she's a good woman at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, D Money, we all know, if somebody leaves you, if they ain't shit, you ain't bitter about that woman leaving you a year from now. You don't give a damn about that shit. But you bitter because you know she was good to you. Yeah. And it hurts for you to see her being treated well by somebody else, knowing that you the reason why. Mm-hmm. And that's I think that's what's hurting Brandon Marshall, is he's looking at the pivot and be like, that's what I Am Athlete was supposed to be, but I fucked this up, but my pride is not going to let me show it, knowing that I'm the reason why this shit fucked up, and then look at them flourishing with somebody else. It's my fault.
It's kind of like, not to the same degree, but it probably, like, Skip probably feels a little way sometimes.
Oh, hell yeah. Skip's all in his feelings.
When he sees Stephen A. make a couple little like Stephen A. and Shannon both will they will say admirable things about Skip, but then they always throw some little jabs at him, which don't get me wrong, Skip will probably, if you're around Skip long enough and you're not his wife or Lil Wayne, he probably will make you feel that way. But it probably does rub him wrong because ultimately, if he was being all the way 100, he would probably say, I made both of them into who they are today.
That's
now,
fair.
They both could have probably been in the media, but
they probably wouldn't have been
to be big. Two of the biggest stars, he probably feel like that's because of him.
And I would give Skip that because
It's probably true.
He brought them both into his platform.
He definitely took them to another level.
He vouched for both of them to be on the show at various points. He vouched for Stephen A. Once he got fired from ESPN, he vouched for him. He said, "I'm not going to do it." So he brought him back into the fold.
And then he went to the top.
And then he went to the top. Now he went to FS1. Vouched for Shannon. I need this guy. Now Shannon, but. And I tweeted this on my page when they did the HBCU thing. I don't know if you've seen that, where they did First Take at Shannon's HBCU on Monday, and then they did the show at Stephen A's HBCU on Tuesday.
Oh, no, I didn't even know.
So yeah,
I think I did know that actually.
So First Take did each show from each one of them's, HBCU because they graduated from there. And I was like, Skip, this is all you had to do for Shannon. Make him feel like he's a part of the show. And we know it's your show, Skip. But just let him feel like he's a part of it too. That's all you had to do, and he would have been cool with it. But then you see First Take they doing everything for Shannon over at Joint. You think that's all you had to do, bro. Could have kept his train rolling. But now you want to disrespect him, tell him he's jealous of Tom Brady, he's jealous of his career. Is that what we on?
And I think, unfortunately for me, I think that made the show entertaining. Because now I think Stephen A. and Shannon are going to be so careful with what they say to each other that it ain't going to be as fun.
It's still funny and it's still fun, but it's not as intense.
Nah, it's
because not. The debates aren't going to get intense like they did on Undisputed, because you knew no matter what, he was staying with Jordan, he was staying with LeBron, he was staying with Tom Brady, he was staying with everybody else. And those two topics, they weren't never going to see eye to eye on. But although Stephen A. Smith is a Jordan guy and Shannon's a LeBron guy, it doesn't have that same intensity anymore. It doesn't have that, no, you wrong. It's like, okay, I see what you're saying, but this is why I think LeBron is. Yeah. And it just don't have that same fight no more. But the ratings are still number one, though. So you can't dispute that. But anyways, as my dude Marcellus Wiley would say, beat it up in the comments. Who do y'all agree with? Do y'all think Brandon Marshall is right? Do y'all think he's capping? Or do y'all go with the pivot dudes? Or you think they capping? But another topic I want to talk about, D-Money, before we get on up out of here, is I want to talk about content creators in and around Lexington. This just popped in my head.
All right, let's do it.
What are your thoughts on... Because to me, I started doing this in 2017. 2017.
Let me check and see if I can figure out when I actually started.
2017 is when I started doing the Beyond the Game radio show. And to be quite honest, it was me, Lee G, discussions at the round table, Future. I can't remember what their show was about. It was maybe 5 to 6 content creators that I know of in Lexington within itself. Between 2017 and 2023, I mean, you see podcast shows popping up everywhere in and around Lexington. What's your thoughts on not only just that, but why aren't all of these content creators working with each other?
Oh, man. I think a little bit of it is still, I think it's just very hard because even though none of us have really achieved a lot, we've probably met goals, our own certain little small goals here and there. But I think we all still trying to be the first one. Are we trying to beat each other to the top? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is where I want to go with it.
So I think a lot of people feel like there's only room for one, so you have to be the one, right?
That's Lexington mentality for you.
For sure. And so I think a lot of guys just try to stay out of each other's way, because really, not me necessarily, like, I don't care if everybody's successful and I'm not, like, because at the end of the day, I'm still just doing this for the love of it. I'm having fun. Mm-hmm. Do I want it to blow up at some point?
Of course.
Yeah, but I'm just having fun. I'm cool with where I'm at if it just stays right here. But yeah, I think a lot of time we like I said, I have some guys that's local that support me, and people that have been watching my show since I very first started, and I always love and appreciate those people. Like I know who most of them are. You know what I mean? But ultimately, what you have to do is you have to build an audience outside of that.
That's what you got to do.
Where there's no biases. Because when you see certain people, they know you, they feel some type of way about you, or they don't think you're good at what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like I've heard things behind my back from people, and like I'm not even doing it to a level to where I feel like I should even be talked about. Like I'm still so small with it.
I keep telling you,
and I don't even feel like I should have haters.
Credit, bro. Like you are doing.
I ain't making no noise yet. You know what I'm saying? To where I feel like somebody should be hating on me. Like I don't feel like I'm there yet.
Yeah, you are.
You know they say if you got haters, you know you're doing it or whatever the case may be. I don't feel like I should have haters yet.
You shouldn't. You should feel like you shouldn't.
But let me get it to it. Don't let me not get it twisted. I only got a couple of hate. Like it's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe like 2 or 3.
Okay.
You feel me? So, but yeah, a lot of people see you doing stuff, and they just project their insecurities on you. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably wish they could do it, but maybe they might not know how, or maybe they feel like they don't got the time or the money. But I try to be very helpful to anybody as much as I can.
Facts.
Anybody that reaches out to me, they can probably verify that I usually try to help as much as I can.
Facts.
If you want me to teach you how to set something up, if you want me to recommend some gear, or help you with software, if there's anything I can help, I try to be as helpful as I can, because even if somebody wins, if I feel like I helped in a way, then I feel like I'm part of the team to a degree. Now, I'm not going to ask for no money or ask to be credited for your success.
If you didn't ask me, you wouldn't have known how to. Nah, it ain't that type of party.
But I just feel like if you got the game, you should give it to other people. I don't think you should keep the game to yourself. If I die, I want somebody to know everything that I know. If it's valuable to anybody, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not valuable, but if anybody finds what I do or anything that I know valuable, I want them to have it. You know what I mean?
And that's what's crazy to me is I see so many, and I'm gonna just fuck it. I see so many sports-based podcasts popping up in and around. And shout out to my dudes, Big Things Kentucky. My bad, they started around the same time I did too. But I see so many of them popping up in and around Lexington. And I'm like, bro, we all do the same type of shit. Why don't, instead of trying to fight, not on purpose, or maybe it is on purpose, I don't know. Instead of trying to fight each other for the same type of viewers, won't we just work together and build this big sports conglomerate in Lexington within itself? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like you said, in order for anybody's shit to blow, we're going to have to go outside of the 859 area code.
Yeah, for sure.
And so if we're all pretty much within the Versailles, Georgetown, Lexington, all of that little Nicholasville, all of that little area right here, we're pretty much sharing it to the same damn people any damn way, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why don't we work together to figure out? Now, I ain't saying we got to all do, I ain't saying we got to be on some pivot shit or some I am athlete shit. But hey, you want to come on my show this week? Okay, yeah, hey, I'm gonna come on yours. And it's like, to me, I feel like a lot of these dudes are afraid to put their pride to the side and be like, hey, Q, you can come on my show? You know me, I don't give it. I ask you to come on. I give Big Things. I don't give a damn. That shit don't matter to me because you told me a long time ago, iron sharpens iron, my boy.
Yeah.
So if you come on my show and you busted my ass, that's only gonna make me be like, man, I need to get my shit together. D-Money was on his shit today. He came with this, he came with that. He was prepared for this. I need to get on my shit.
Yeah, and I actually like that me and you got that type of relationship. Like I can just call you and be like, damn, you been getting busy. Like you make me feel some type of way. Like I'm getting left behind. I got to get back in my bag. And it's not like on some sucker shit or some hating.
It's like, bro, I see you. I need to get my shit together then.
Yeah, but that's why I started to begin with though. Like I was peeping what you was doing, like, cause I'm gonna keep it real, right? I was wasting too much time arguing with niggas about politics, right? Way too much time. So when I started getting active in your group and I just started paying attention, I was like, damn, like, Q doing this thing out here. Like, maybe other people weren't looking at it like that, but I would, and just because I know what goes into it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I was one of the people that sat back and I knew how to do it, knew what it took, but didn't do it. Not that I was hating on niggas, but I'm just saying I know what goes into it. So when I'm seeing you put in the work, I'm like, oh, I know all what he's putting into that. Like, some people might not appreciate it, but like, I understand.
They see the show, you see the shit that leads up to the show.
Yeah. Like, I know, like, nigga might have had to take an hour to set up, tear it down. Then he might have had to take another hour to go home and edit it all up just so somebody can ignore it.
You know boy, you speak to the choir.
So I always respected that, and it inspired me, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, shit, he's doing his thing. Like, let me jump in and see what happened. So, you know, I think a lot of times, like I said, man, I think guys just want to finish number one. But I think it would be helpful to everybody because I think we could all share audiences. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. Everybody sees our shit anyways. You know what I'm saying? We all basically sharing the same audience. It's just basically, do you like this loaf of bread? Do you like white bread? Do you like wheat bread? Do you like oat? That's all we doing is offering people different types of bread, but we're all doing the same type of shit.
Yeah.
So it's just, to be honest, D-Money, kind of frustrates me a little bit, bro.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Because it's like, bro, we all doing the same shit. Well, like, why don't we just collab on some shit? And then that might be the shit the show pops. And if that show pops, then both of our shit is being seen.
Yeah.
Let me go check out what they got going on too then. And then there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why I got to get on Sports and Discourse when we play, UK.
For sure, man.
And, when we get this 3-point victory.
Yeah.
Because we got a 30-year-old.
Yes, sir. We got a 23-year-old, so you can call him 32. Being in college at 23 is wild, so you can call him a 30-year-old. But we need him to get busy, especially right now, because we don't have any centers.
Man, do you think about the content, man? Because it goes back to you saying there can only be one. I got banned from posting my content in the group in Lexington.
That's crazy.
I got banned. Don't y'all like the admin? I think I was blocked at the time, and it's like, damn, I didn't even do nothing, bro. It's like I don't know if you seen that 50 Cent video. He's like, damn, what you say fuck me for? Like, and I was like, bro, I don't even be bothering nobody. I just post my little content in there. If y'all watch it, y'all watch it. If y'all don't, y'all don't. Just scroll on through. And somebody took a screenshot. I was like, man, look, they said this. I'm like, damn, like he's saying, don't be posting nobody else, other groups content in here. I'm like, but the group doesn't even have content, so it's not like y'all have content.
Taking nothing away
yeah,
from
that's what I'm saying. It's not like y'all was doing y'all own thing, and it's like, okay, we don't want no. Okay, cool, I respect that. I get that. But it's like y'all not even doing that in here. I'm just I'm trying to help Lexington, bro. Like, why you hating on me for? I'm just little light skinned Quentin. Ain't bothering nobody, dog.
Man, that is wild though. And that's one of the other things that I appreciate about your group, because you let me stream in there, you let me post my stuff, you let me basically do whatever I want to do. But yeah, man, it's just crazy that Lexington is like that.
Because I don't care, bro. I don't care. You feel me? If somebody looks at your shit more than, I'm happy. You feel me? Like, and that's I guess I don't know, bro. I guess that just comes being, not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but just being cut from a different cloth. And it's like, bro, like you just said earlier, I want you to be successful. I know you. Why would I want to try to stop your progress if posting in Beyond the Game group can get you 2 or 3 more subscribers?
And I mean, like, let's be real. And anytime you're doing anything in entertainment, it's built off relationships.
Facts.
So I believe in my heart, say you got a $50 million deal. I'm not saying you would give me money, but I think you throw me an opportunity here and there.
Bruh, and not to go back to the circle jerk, but state championship.
Yeah, right.
All right, look, I filled out an application for everybody to come. Whoever can come, can come. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Derek, I got you one. Whoop, whoop. I got you one. Just come if y'all can come.
Yeah, that's a good example when you had an opportunity and you pitched it to some people.
Whoever want to come, make the best of it. Who don't, all right, I get to understand.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm built, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not great trying to build something and then shut the door when everybody comes to the door. No, I may not be able to get you what I got, but I can steer you in a direction to maybe get your own.
And even with the radio show, because you pretty much leave it free for anybody that wants to be a guest, anybody that wants to call in. And it's actually giving a lot of value to the group because it's pretty popular with everybody.
And
you know what
that's,
I'm saying?
that was my whole sole purpose. Like, because to be 100, I don't know this for sure, and maybe you do because you took a communications degree. Okay. I didn't know if there was a Black-led sports radio show in Lexington.
I don't know either.
And we have KSR, and that's cool. No disrespect to them guys or nothing like that, but they only focus on UK, right? So my thought process was, well, people want to hear more than just UK and Lexington. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what motivated me to do Beyond the Game to begin with, is everything here is Lexington based, and rightfully so. We got one of the, blue bloods, if not the blue blood in college basketball, right? So why wouldn't every sports radio station be about UK? But then you have those who want to talk about LeBron and Jordan and KD and Tom Brady and NFL stuff and hockey stuff and baseball stuff. Like, they want to hear that shit too. And then the fact that people can call in and be a part of the show too.
Yeah.
And before we wrap this up, the one thing I realized is that people want to be a part of something.
For sure.
And that's what Beyond the Game is. It gives you a chance to be a part of something.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, hey, baby, yeah, hey, Q told me to come on. I'm going to be on the radio today. For real? What channel? 93 point. Oh, for real? Hey, you got a song coming out? Send it to me. What's it going to be on 93.9? I'll play it during the show. That person might not ever be on the radio again in their life. But that one day, that shit was on the radio.
Yeah.
Same thing. Not to get too deep, D-Money. My kids have been on there. Whatever I do, whatever their moms think about me, my daddy had me on the radio. That shit'll live forever. Nobody can ever take that shit away from them.
Yeah, it's a humbling experience, man, because, like, my daughter, and I had to get on her, though, but she sent me a screenshot with, you know how they got the little notebooks or whatever they call them, the little laptops, Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Her and her partners is in there watching my show. I said, man, come on, man. Y'all niggas supposed to be paying attention to the teacher.
But it make you feel good, though, right?
I said, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Make you feel good, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. Had about 5-6 people sitting around watching my show, you know what I mean? So
we bonding right now. We bonding right now. Even though you UK and I'm North Carolina, we bonding right now. Daughter, same thing.
Yeah.
I made a post on Facebook how she made me proud one day because she was in class and she just was bored, I guess, and she Googled me. And she said some white dude came up. And so
a white dude named Quentin Walker.
She said something. It's crazy. It's her story. I know there's probably a million white dudes. But anyway,
that's insane.
She said she put in Beyond the Game Quentin Walker, and all of my stuff came up. But when she did that, her friends was like, "Is that your dad?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's my dad. He has a radio." And she clicked on it, and her friends in Ohio was watching my shit. Man, that day couldn't nobody tell me nothing, bro.
That's what's up, man.
Couldn't nobody tell me nothing. But anyways, we getting ready to get on up out of here. We appreciate everybody who tuned in for another dope show. Make sure y'all go like, share, and subscribe to Derek Stevenson Sports and Discourse. Let everybody know where they can find you at and what kind of content you give them.
Yeah, man. So I just looked while we was talking, and I think I dropped my first episode somewhere around September the 10th of 2021.
I told you September.
So I'm 2 years in, man. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube, which is mainly where you can get my stuff. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson. But if you rather just listen to it without looking at my ugly face, you can go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So whatever floats your boat, I appreciate it. You know.
You ever go back and listen to your first episode?
I think I have before, yeah.
What'd you think about it? Did you cringe?
Of course, yeah. and I don't even got to go that far back to, I still have cringe moments now. It's just part of the game. And that's one thing, I know we wrapping up the show, but
I get it off your chest, bro.
That's what I want to tell people too. Like, don't be afraid to jump in the game, man, because you can't compare yourself to professionals you see on TV that been in the game for years.
They have
just,
media
you
training.
everybody got to start somewhere. So,
bro, that's the most important thing.
yeah, just go on and jump in there. But shout out to some people. You know what I'm saying? Donovan and Andrew doing their podcast. Reggie got a podcast. So a lot of people don't like to post their stuff. They don't like to brag, but we'll shout some of them out.
Man, talk about it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Reggie got his podcast. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I know the Just Noise sports show. Like you said, Big Things Kentucky. It's a lot of guys doing some work, man. And I'm going to have to start trying to get them to put themselves out there a little bit more. You know what I mean?
You put the work in. Why don't you want somebody to see it?
Yeah. Go on and jump on in that pool, man, and start swimming.
You got to understand, bro. If you going to do this thing, not everybody's going to like your shit. And you just...
Rich the Bull, too. He doing wrestling, Kentucky, him and Bravo, like, you know what I'm saying? So
they do their wrestling. So if you're into wrestling, check out his podcast. I forgot the name of it, but we posted in the Beyond the Game group from time to time in there as well. Like you said, Donovan and Drew have Infinity Link podcast, everything Philadelphia Eagles related. Donovan does The Hills Have Eyes, which is a North Carolina podcast. We So KY Fantasy Football podcast. It's like 8 of them jokers in that joint who do that.
Spoken Minds
with Chris and Ike Barron.
Then they got the Pick'em show.
The Pick'em show that they do on Thursdays. Once Ike stopped doing slave hours, we'll get that going again. So the guy in Paris, I can't think of William. He does he streams the Paris games.
I don't know who it is. I don't think.
William, I forgot his name. I think it's, and I apologize if I get this incorrect, my dude. 489 The Zone, I think it's called, or something like that. He covers Paris sports. Check out his content as well. It's a new one popped up. You know Will Washington? I don't know. He does like a Cats versus Cards podcast that he does on there. You can check that out. But like I said, man, we just share love, man. Like Biggie Smith says, share love is the Brooklyn way. Share love is the Brooklyn way. But anyways, we get ready up out here. You already know who it is. It's your boy Nephew Q. I need you to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that notification so you get notified every time a news show drops. I'm getting ready to get on up out of here. And as always, want you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. We up at this thing, y'all. Peace.